for the election. I thought she was a better vote. The other guy, the Republican,
Yeah, I remember him.
dropped out and then came back in the middle of the race. So it just he didn't
Do it for you?
do it for me.
So I didn't know if we steer into it or we can just couldn't remember.
Need a copy of this?
That's what, but each is there.
They emailed it, but yeah.
You steer into it, correct? Into it, yeah.
Keep you going,
Did you stay at the Michelangelo? Or did you stay at the Michelangelo, or would you stay? Okay. Okay. I went there.
The
for
worst thing
lunch
to
on
do is to hit
Tuesday.
the brake.
That's the only. Remember we talked about that. I went there that
Just
day.
take your foot off the gas and steer into it, and it'll come out.
Okay, the microphones are live, ladies and gentlemen.
Because I was just about to say,
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight, the camera is being self-operated by itself. So if there's anything wrong with the picture, volume, what have you, public comment. Laura, would you like to?
Sure, it's off agenda, but absolutely.
What agenda?
First off, thank you for having me. Wanted to report back, I did see Councilmember Sullivan at the Association of Towns Training School. I went down to that. And some of the things that I don't know if, it's kind of hard to get to all the classes because a lot of them overlap. They made to as many as possible. A few things I have. One, I know we have disaster preparedness, and I know June, you're on the fire department. I'd like to pass this off. It's a free training that they're doing on propane emergencies. We have a lot of propane, especially in the fort. And this is actually a little card. The thing pops out and it pops into your USB port, and it's a whole class on here. So I'd like to give that over to you, as well as some of this other information. As we famously know, the 2000 census was mailed back to the Department of Census from the Fort Montgomery Post Office because it was, the census is based on your physical address, not your P.O. box. And back then, the postmistress sent everything back, which really caused a pickle. And our census is very important because it's what determines our levels of what we can get in tax dollars and what we can get in grants and loans and so on and so forth. It's hugely important. So I did train one of the classes there, and I have information and a contact with the Department of State on the census. April, May of this year, people will be receiving invite letters to respond to the census where they can go online and you can fill out your census form online instead of waiting for it to come to you in the mail. I really urge the Fort Montgomery people to please look for that card or even just go online to the census and do it. There's also going to be information that I'm getting from Department of State to put at the Highland Falls Library on it. April 2020 is Census Day, and that is the day that all the censuses will come out and get mailed to everybody, probably a little bit before then, but definitely everybody will receive their actual census forms by April 1st, 2020. There is a initiative, and that's also the contact that I have here for you, is called Luca Local Update of Census Address, and there is an appeal process, so you can go through this Department of State website and double check what's come down for the town. The town assessor might also have that information. And then when you go through that, if we see that there is a problem with the PO boxes, we can preempt that before the April 2020. There's a 45-day response time to them. One of the big things that's coming out now is tax scams, especially senior scams, and then also just regular everyday people. I even got a call that, I'm the IRS, and I'm going, no, you're not. The IRS doesn't call me. So if you feel that you're getting a call, please do not give out your personal information over the phone. It's 99.9% of the time, it is not going to be a truthful adventure. And They can call me at 845-281-4840 if they feel like they're having a problem. I can help walk them through reporting the scam and trying to get it taken care of and put the scammers out of business. As the chief knows, there's a reporting system with the Attorney General's office. There's also information here. This is something that's near and dear to my heart, and I've talked about it previously on this board. Clean vehicles. There's up to $300,000 available for rebates on clean vehicle purchases and lease. So I'm going to urge you to do that. I know we used to have a green committee in the town. I believe Olga Anderson was the head of it. I don't know if it's still active. Might be something to look at because there's a lot of different things coming down out of the DEC and a lot of clean energy grants that are coming out. So it might be something worthwhile to see if there's interest in it in the community. There's also, climate smart communities where there's money for that, where they'll come in, they'll help you with your buildings. There's also for putting solar power on your buildings and so on and so forth. I know we did a little research in the past on solar power, but so much has changed since then. It might be worth another look. And then the DEC and the EFC has wastewater infrastructure engineering planning grants. You apply through the consolidated funding application, which that's coming out usually May through June or July is the application process. So I know that I was talking to Councilmember Sullivan about our wastewater treatment plant here in the community and that there's some work that needs to be done down there. So it might be worth a look at, and I've got the information here on that. And then this one's a touchy one. Some people are interested in it, some people are not. But another clean energy initiative is the smart street lighting. And there is programs and financing options to New York Power Authority. So I wanted to provide that information to you also and see if you're interested in that stuff. It's worth a look. Never hurts. It will save money in the long run. I know it's an expense up front, and it's got to be something to see if you're interested in it, if it's actually worth the savings to us. So I'd like to provide that all to you guys.
Thank you, Lori.
You're welcome. Does anybody have any questions for me? I know that some extra sales tax dollars came down from the county or is on its way down from the county. Did it arrive here yet?
Did it?
It did, good. So there was the initial sales tax money, and then there's another, I think, 4.5%, 5%?
I don't know what the percentage was. I think it was about $60,000.
Yeah, there was another bump up that we, when they did the estimates for the budget, the sales tax reporting wasn't in for the end of the quarter, so December was actually a really good month, and we were able to get some more sales tax back to the communities. So that was a good thing. You're welcome.
Keep it coming.
I will try.
I attended some of the seminars you just talked about, so you just saved me about a couple of paragraphs in my report.
You're
And,
welcome.
and
I did the Cliff Notes version for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody have any
Kelly,
county
Grab
questions?
me an agenda.
An agenda.
I'm the
Good.
only one who didn't get one.
Thank you very much.
Lori, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
In case nobody told you lately, you're doing a good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I have the minutes of the last meeting, February the 11th. Someone like to approve?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I received a letter from Charter Communications. They have a new government affairs point of contact. And I have the name, address, cell phone, email address, the whole works. If we have any problems, we're to contact her. And this has worked out in the past where with our televising meetings and some problems with the equipment we have downstairs, we've called up the affairs officer, the affairs point of contact, and got things done, which was a good thing. Okay, we sent out a request for general engineering services. In other words, what do the engineers out there have to offer the town if we were to appoint them town engineer? There was a cutoff date of today, February the 25th, we received 3 requests. One from Al Fusco, one from McGooey and Hauser, and one from Lankin Tully. We'll look over those specifications as a board, and next meeting, we'll try to decide on someone to represent the town as a town engineer. I received a request from Jim Molden, which I'm going to bring forward with the permission of the board. I guess the Chamber of Commerce requested from the county, Harry Poor, by the way, answered back, for some funds. I think it's $5,000, I think, somewhere in that neighborhood, to do some brochures and signage and what have you for the businesses in town. They answered back that they would like to help us, however, they can't help the chamber out, but they can help the town, the board government, the town government. So I'll put a request into the county in the chamber's words as to what they need. And does anyone on the board have any problems with that? Do I have a motion for me to go ahead?
Second.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we mailed out $44,077.03 to cover the check run. Bigger items are CLG Financial for our cyber liability renewal. That was $3,982. Our O&R for multi-department electric, $3,017. Legal services, $13,660. Town of Highlands Employee Association clothing allowance, $4,500. Town of New Windsor, $4,164 for IT services. Board liaison reports, Rich?
I'm up, okay. Good evening, everybody. So, the January report for the building department, 13 permit applications were received, 9 were issued, 4 COs were issued, 22 building permit inspections, 10 fire safety inspections, 3 advisory notices. That's really good. We've had as many as 99 in 1 month, so that's down low. 5 municipal searches, 1 zoning variance application was received, 15 FOIL requests, and 38 total number of physical inspections. The ZBA meeting last week was canceled due to snow on Wednesday. I believe they had it on Friday. I was unable to attend, so I don't know what transpired. Again, they meet on the 3rd Wednesday of each month normally. On the sewer, which there's always plenty to talk about if we want to, but tomorrow, Bob, thank you for helping take care of Al Fusco's having a walkthrough. I believe it's for pre-bid contractor meeting type thing down at the plant. The RFPs for the roof are now officially out, right, Kelly? We're waiting to hear back from people on that. That's not part of the grant. Why do I know that? Because I called Al Fusco 3 times to make sure that that's not part of it. And it's original and it's leaking and needs to be done. We put $12,000 in the budget last year for that, so hopefully that can be done before everything's all tore up down there. So like I went to the Association of Towns, and thank you for letting me go down. Saw our judges and Karen Miller down there. And I attended a bunch of things, which I could read this whole thing to you. Everybody's going to protest that, so I'll abbreviate it. I went to a tax collector seminar, which is something that interests me because there are a bunch of rural communities upstate where the town clerk, and don't get mad at me, June, I'm just doing my report, the town clerk and the tax receiver are one and the same. I was just interested in how that goes down. I meant there was an attorney there from the Association of Towns named Katie Hogden. And I just mentioned that was curious how it is compared to how a village would do it. I said the word village, and they asked me to leave the seminar, so that was the end of that one. And next was, rural wireless community, and this is also on the legislative agenda. In the Adirondacks, believe it or not, they are seeking cell towers to a point where they're willing to dedicate some municipal money toward attracting providers up there to go do so. The difference up there is it's too far to run wires and whatnot, so they would be communicating via microwaves, and microwaves are one notch beyond a cell, what the waves put out in terms of approaching ionizing radiation. That was discussed at length, and just some of the facts that the gentleman giving it, who, what was he from? He was from a non-profit wireless communication organization. I'll have the data in an email if anybody wants it. The number of cell phone subscribers in this country, according to him, is 396 million, more than the population of the country, up 170% since 2006. Over half the citizens no longer have a landline phone. I'm one of them. Data usage is what's driving the train for all these cell phone towers. Maybe they won't be around 20 years from now as technology goes forward. And they showed some maps of it, the coverage in New York State. 80% of all consumers consider the ability to reach 911 paramount, and 80% of all 911 calls are from wireless devices. Do you agree with that, Frank? I do. Okay. So, in other words, that technology is not going away, and I'm not suggesting anything about cell towers except what's happening upstate. Went to a marijuana seminar, and they discussed at length medical users who might have a CDL and whatnot, and the exceptions provided by law to them. It isn't law in New York State yet, and something I brought out that wasn't answered is I have a CDL and a crane license, and I don't currently smoke marijuana for anybody that's concerned. But in the event somebody were to use it on Sunday, and it's legal, and it's Thursday, are you impaired or are you not impaired? Because you can drink alcohol, and there's a breathalyzer test for that. For marijuana, it's a blood test, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to have to be dealt with as time goes on. So that was kind of the crux, and there was a local attorney that attended that seminar with me. I went to what Lori touched upon, a wastewater seminar on funding for it. They discussed EFC, which is what's doing our grant for the 2.8 million project down at the sewer plant. Chuck Schumer spoke at breakfast on Tuesday morning. He discussed, and it was on the legislative agenda, the 5G problem. People want more of it. And on home rule, which we acted on that, I believe, last February. So we're good there. We acted on that resolution where we'll have control over where they're placed around our community. What amazed me is, like in New York City, every 150 feet, there's a device. In buildings, you look at these bubbles that you think are cameras, these are all 5G devices. They're everywhere down there in order for people to get that kind of coverage. He touched upon that. He touched upon, and the Times Herald Record had it a little bit different, funding for the PFAs, if that's the correct term, that have contaminated some airports where they use foam. I understand New Windsor has lost their water supply. What I'm reading in the Times Herald Record is different from what he said, in that he said he had the director of the Navy come up there and look at it, and that there was some funding available coming from that organization for it. So I don't know what's true about that, but he talked about it. Moving on, after Letitia James, the new Attorney General, spoke. She talked about zombie homes, that there's $9 million in grant money to try and help deal with that problem in New York, and the opioid crisis. And they talked about, and I think it's Elmira, where they got $80,000 in grant money for just one detection device for detecting fentanyl. I guess law enforcement has a problem where if they touch the stuff, it's absorbed into their skin.
That's correct.
And I guess these things are very expensive in some of the inner cities. Nobody's going to have money for that. So he talked about trying to generate money for that and for opioids prevention to begin with. Went to a zoning seminar on food trucks. The supervisor, my knowledge of food couldn't fill the forward of a book. So it just was kind of interesting. They're becoming very popular around New York State. I know there's some things going on locally with that. On the smart street lighting that Lori was talking about, Kevin Lutheran was a gentleman's name that spoke about that from New York Power Authority. There's a study out there saying that LED lights give people an inability to sleep at nighttime, and there's studies that say that it doesn't. So I don't want to get involved with LED lighting, is it good or not? He will come to a town board meeting if we wanted him to, and give a proposal for free. We have 167 lights in town. I understand as O&R replaces them, there's LED going back in. I can't prove that, I haven't seen them. So with 167 is not that many. I don't know if the board would be interested in proposal from him. If they are, I could contact him. If not, we'll leave it be. And also, finally, went to a seminar on electric cars and charging ports and whatnot. What little bit I know about it, I believe the one in the village is a kind where if you want to plug in, you have to have an app on your phone to be charged for it. I've heard people say, why are we paying for people to go down there and charge your car for free? I don't think it's set up that way. And if we were to have one, they call it a network one, I would want it to be where people would pay by an app or whatever. It's not just free electricity sitting there for people to use. And then the Association of Towns, I went down on Wednesday, went back down for the legislative agenda. Some things that might be of interest to people, that there were 19 things on that. Number 13 was a measure to increase the cap on employees that are retired, which since 2004 has been $30,000. We have a couple of part-timers, I'm looking at one, where if that measure were to pass, it would go up to $35,000. Our sewer plant operator is part-time, I think we get our money's worth out of him. If that were to pass, maybe that would help us a little bit. If it were $50,000, I would have voted no in a heartbeat. But so that measure was before them. And anybody that wants the legislative agenda, I have an extra copy for anybody who would want it. They all passed unanimously. They had their usual election of officers, and I have the budget for the Association of Towns, their operating budget, if anybody wants to see it. And that's it.
Richie, thank you very much. I know when we have someone go to the Association of Towns meeting in the city, it's a costly affair, and I think we got our money's worth out of you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Councilman King.
Okay. Good evening, and good evening, everyone at home. A few notes, and we're going to start off with the Town of Highlands Services for Older Adults. Still has ongoing scheduled classes. The next being March 14th from 11:20 to 12:10, 11:20 a.m. to 12:10 p.m. Myths of Nutrition and Fitness. And it's truth about hydration, vitamins, exercise, and more. And so these classes are held at the center. So anybody who's interested in coming out to the center and taking advantage of these services, they have a robust schedule of events here. Some others are April 10th through 11th, Foxwood and Mohegan Sun bus trip. And April 25th through May 16th, there's low impact armchair exercises. April 27th, there's friends and family CPR classes. And here's an FYI from the center. Expanded in-home services for older adults program. Non-medical services program for those over 60 and who do not qualify for Medicaid in need of assistance with activities of daily living and who meet program requirements. Please call Orange County, New York Connects at 845-615-3710. Additionally, there's some long-term requests already put in for trips such as the waterfront at Silver Birches. Is a bus day trip that's coming in October, but the request is in for that. There's additionally in May, looks like Monday, May 20th, Orange County Senior Council Spring Luncheon in Middletown. The bus departs from Sacred Heart at 10 a.m. and returns at 3 p.m. So lots going on for our seniors. So thanks to the center and Ann Molina and the entire staff for all they're doing to provide the services to the senior citizens. And that's all I have.
Thanks, sir. Councilman Gunza?
Okay. I attended the chamber meeting, and I think we're all aware that there will be no art walk this year, because the funding they had expected was delayed in coming, so they could not commit in the fall to lining up the artists and commissioning them. But they are hard at work on next year, and the chamber is doing a lot of things with a small group of people, because not every business person can manage to attend the meetings. So they're very active. I met with the PBA over a couple of issues, and I will report that to you in executive session. The planning board meeting was held last Thursday, here, and they also meet the third Thursday of every month, if anyone would like to attend. And then I sat in on a meeting with the supervisors when he was having a discussion with the seniors, the Citizen Senior Council, last week. And lastly, we proposed to hire 3 new candidates to be police officers to attend Phase 2 when we get to that part of the meeting.
Yep. Councilman Perry?
No report at this time.
Okay. I got in today the county list for EMTs, of which there were 5 on that list, if I remember right. There were 5 people on the list for, what they call that, full part-time or something along that line? Is this, I think those both words were there, kind of.
Extended part-time or something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, we do have slots for 4 EMTs. We could hire them all 4 off of this list, but getting all 4 to commit to the town doesn't seem very possible. We do need EMTs, obviously, in the ambulance corps. We do need drivers at the ambulance corps. We are very, very short on personnel. We have people doing more shifts and work than I think they signed up for. I mean, if you figure you're going to be a driver a couple days a week or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden you're doing 4 or 5 days a week, that's not what you asked for, and we really, really need help at the ambulance corps. The paid EMTs obviously get paid something very minimal, but nonetheless, they do get paid to a standard that is higher than most of the county. The drivers do not get paid. They're strictly volunteers. And most of you can be an EMT and a volunteer at the same time. You don't have to get paid. So if anyone wants to find out about how to become a member of our ambulance corps, stop in the police headquarters, ambulance headquarters, talk to somebody down there, and I have no doubt they'll accommodate you. Chief, you have anything for us?
No, sir. I think I'm fine this week.
Okay. Kelly, you have anything for us?
No.
You're not going to tell us to get those sheets back from the employee handbook?
Here's your email.
Huh? Okay. I did
And
my
the term is full-time reduced hours. for the
full-time reduced salaries. Wow.
Full-time reduced hours.
That's a new classification. Gee, that's something the police department can do, full-time reduced salaries?
We'll work on it.
Wow. Okay, all right. Dial-a-bus. I have a resolution for the new dial-a-bus, whereas the town board of the town of Highlands has requested that the town supervisor sign an agreement with the county of Orange for the lease of 1 new 12-passenger wheel-shift lift equipped bus with related equipment as replacement for the existing town dial-a-bus. And whereas the town board of the town of Highlands wishes to take the appropriate action to progress the project with all possible haste to secure funding during calendar year 2019 and acquisition during calendar year 2019. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Highlands recognizes that the funding requirements for the cost of the bus is $1. Whereas the Town Board, Town of Highlands further recognizes that it will be responsible for all operating costs of the new bus above and beyond those funds realized through the fare box and through the available state and federal operating assistance. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor of the Town of Highlands is hereby authorized to sign an agreement with the County of Orange for the lease of one new 12-passenger design blah, blah, blah dial-a-bus. And it's further resolved that the Town of Highlands agrees to pay the County of Orange $1. The question as to whether I should sign this goes to the board now. Do I have a motion to allow me to sign the agreement?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sullivan?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonza?
Aye.
Councilmember Perry?
Aye.
Supervisor Lipsy?
Aye. Old dial-a-bus. What are we gonna do, guys?
So did we ever get in, because I had already proposed that we keep it and use it for the seniors exclusively. But the issue was, I thought somebody raised, I don't know if it was Richie or not, about the maintenance of it. Would that be, how costly would that be?
Maintenance, insurance,
Did we ever get any figures on it?
I think that it's about $700 for insurance for the year.
Yeah, I think it was like $750 or something.
I don't know what the fuel usage would be because I don't know how much would be used. And as far as maintenance goes, that's, it can get costly.
Did we
Tires alone,
receive,
I think, are,
did we receive a report on the condition of the bus?
I thought we did it the last meeting, but I'm not sure.
No,
Or
it
a
was
couple of
more
meetings
New
than-
ago.
Jersey sent
yeah.
one a while back.
Yeah, it was a while back.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't remember, was it, the mechanic looked it over and it was supposed to be in good condition or not very good condition?
Unfortunately, I don't remember either.
I would read it. I wouldn't want to misrepresent what the collective feeling of it is.
Could we table that one until we get some facts?
Yeah, and we'll table it till the next meeting. I will get the facts, and I will give everybody a package on it, and we'll put it to bed next meeting. Is that all right with everyone?
And I'm not
Yes, sir.
opposed to anything. I would just like to discuss it. There was some discussion of the center doing something. I know we have a problem with available drivers as it is now. I'd like all that to be part of the discussion. That's all.
All right, do I have a motion to table?
Make the motion that we
Yeah.
table this until the next meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I mentioned earlier about the RFPs for town engineer. We got 3 in, and I'll put together a package on them with the help of my assistant as to what they're offering. You're my assistant.
I know.
Okay. As to what they're offering, so everybody's got a package before our next meeting, and we can make a decision on which engineer we'd like to go with, or if we would like to further pursue an engineer. I have, actually, the town clerk has a letter from Ray Hall asking for a reappointment to the Assessment Board of Review. I'll ask for a motion to reappoint Ray Hall.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
And is that a 5-year appointment?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, actually, I should have said the whole thing, a 5-year appointment, that's salary schedule. Okay. Okay, and I brought up earlier the request to support the Town of Highlands Chamber of Commerce, requesting the county. I'll send a letter out as soon as I get it put together. And we have some officers to hire, June?
We do. And I'm going to do all 3 of them at the same time, if that's okay with everyone.
Okay with me.
Okay.
For seniority.
You're gonna get that?
Okay, but you said you're doing all at the same time, that's why I'm asking.
No, well, we're gonna do them all in the same motion, I should have said. At any rate, I'll make a motion to appoint Colby Walters, Randy Ortiz, and Caesar Grados in that order for the purpose of seniority to the Town of Highlands Police Department for the purpose of sponsorship through Phase 2 of the Police Training Academy. Cost to be borne by each candidate. The effective date of appointment will be March 8, 2019, provided all necessary paperwork is complete and provided to the town prior to March 12, 2019, with the maximum probation period at the starting salary.
I have a motion to appoint those future patrol officers.
You make the motion, June?
I made the motion.
You need a
I'll
second?
second.
Okay, got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Oh, yeah. I have a request from our receiver of taxes to authorize a check in the amount of $66.97 to be used to reimburse a Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Wojciechowski for, the best way I could put it is some mistakes that were made where interest was charged where it shouldn't have been, and where the taxpayer didn't feel confident that his check was taken by the town, and they put in a stop payment of $34. So it's a total of $66.97, which will square away a problem that we've been working on for at least a month.
So move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Kelly, will you see that check gets taken care of, or does she sign it, or write it out from her
No,
account?
I would pay that.
Huh?
That would come out of our office.
Okay. Okay. I think that's all I have. Does the town board have anything else?
June.
Oh, yeah, I know Justin's got something.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry,
Time out, he has something. Your resolution.
Yep, I circulated a resolution, tax certiorari on section block and lot 104-2-28. It's owned by Northern Enterprises LLC. This was, the negotiations were conducted in close concert with the assessor, and it's appropriate for a modest reduction. There's a copy of the proposed consent order and judgment attached. There'll be a minor refund liability from the town over a 2-year period in the amount of approximately $400. It would simply be a resolution to authorize the settlement of this particular tax certiorari.
I'll ask for a motion to move the resolution.
So move.
Second.
Councilmember Sullivan?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember Gunzer?
Aye.
Councilmember Perry?
Aye.
Supervisor Lindsay?
Aye. Anything from the board?
Just, I didn't want to go too far into my report on the subject of certioraries. The Association of Towns did act on a legislative program for what they call dark store theory. You have a Target, they abandon their mall, and people are using that as a barometer for their assessments in certiorari lawsuits, and the Association of Towns wanted to address that.
Sounds like something well worth it looking into. I'd like to ask for a executive session for what? Aye.
Just wanted to talk to you about the grant letter that you're going to submit to the county. I've been working with the Chamber of Commerce on this grant for a while. It's something that we used to have at the Visitor Center. There used to be a large a large map of the downtown and the businesses. When they did the reconstruction there, we lost that, and also businesses have changed. So what the Chamber has been working on is getting a trifold together that will be put in the Visitor Center, and I believe a larger map. Most of that money will go towards the printing of that trifold and the design of that. And I've already spoken to the acting county executive, Harry Poor, because as you know, our current county executive has been deployed somewhere in the Middle East, I believe. I'm not sure exactly where, we're not allowed to know. So we also pray for him, please. And then as soon as you get that letter in, the acting county executive said he would release that check to the town, and then I believe it'll work the same way. I got a grant last year. Yeah, last year I got the grant for the art walk, and that was administered through the town. The chamber submitted the receipts. Kelly paid for those, and then there was actually money left over last time, and that was returned back to the county from the art walk. So if they don't use all of it, I mean, they've been very good about keeping the expenses as tight as possible and getting it.
Gotcha.
So, all right.
Thank you.
If you could CC me on that letter, too.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
You know I'm going to do that.
If I may, I know that Lori's been working with the chamber and helping them with their programs and supplying them with a little bit of funding from the county, and I'm sure that we're all very appreciative, especially the chamber.
Thank you. Need help.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll come and ask for something from here soon.
Please do.
Okay, I'd like to ask for an executive session for,
I had one last thing. And so I found out that you may have seen on Facebook that the folks who are from Orange County that's deployed to Afghanistan had some requests for some items. Well, I plan to do a drive of some sort to acquire some of the items that they were requesting, like baby wipes and things. So if you've ever been in those kind of austere kind of areas, oftentimes you don't have shower facilities. So things like baby wipes are a big commodity, right? So I saw Executive Newhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his request. But anyway, I know that there are probably other communities doing something, but I
Yeah,
just
but
wanted to
if you,
represent us
if
here.
you guys do it here, please let me know, and
Yeah.
I'll make arrangements to get it out to the county. I believe it's being shipped out via the county executive's office, but I can
Yeah.
verify that. So if you do a
I've already
collection
been in
here.
touch with some people, so I include you. So you can
Yeah, if you,
assist me with
please,
this.
yeah.
The drop-off boxes at Village Hall and Fairgate Deli,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to the Veterans Affairs office.
They're going to the Orange County Veterans Affairs office.
Yeah.
I know there was a box, I saw it at the county executive's office when I was there for a meeting
Village
the
Hall
other
has
day.
one and Fairgate Deli.
Okay, great, that's awesome.
Are you guys gonna add one? Because I'll put that in my story. I did.
Yes, I'm going to do similar to how we did, we collaborated on the Puerto Rican.
You can have, yeah, we did a
hurricane
big
issue.
drive up at the,
So, but
Park.
I've been in them situations, so I know
Yeah.
exactly the types of things, although I see the request, but I've been in that situation many times.
I remember
And so-
there was a community member that their sibling was in the very first, where they were sleeping underneath their trucks and had absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. There was no commissary, there was nothing there at that time, and we were shipping them like toilet paper and hand wipes and
I mean, during
sanitizers.
the Gulf War, we probably went 6 months before we had the opportunity to take a shower.
I'll move away a little bit.
So
Brian.
I don't mean we didn't stay clean, of course, we practice hygiene, but you don't get in the shower.
Yeah,
You'll put a box here at Town Hall?
I gotta think through it. I'll provide you the location. Maybe town hall, because I don't know if that'll be the right location. I'll talk in the executive about this. But
Just let me know tomorrow morning, and I'll put it in
sure,
my story.
I will have that to you by tomorrow morning. But we'll talk about it.
okay, great,
It just struck me as one of those things where
yeah,
my heart kind of went out to him just because I've been there.
yeah, no, definitely.
All right, again, I'll offer a motion to go into executive session to discuss, well, for our attorney to discuss with the town board some situations that need to be
Discuss.
Confidential at this time.
confidential. That's the word I was
Confidential.
searching for. Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
So carried, thank you. And we will not be coming out after the executive session, and I would like Kelly Blobel to
Yes, I
join
mean,
us.
listen, we used to have.
And Chief, I guess you're
Now,
joining.
eventually they came up with something that was called an Australian shower. You know what that is?
Citizens Foundation?
Yeah.
Microphones and TV are still on.
And
Yeah, I'll wait.
I'll text you something else I'm thinking about too, but unrelated.
Good catch. I'll hold on.
Let me get by there.
I'm gonna put it on the other desk.